own lights to other people. Welcome to Expediting Change live at CBCF. This is our first time doing Expediting Change at CBCF right here in our nation's capital, Washington, D.C. at the Convention Center. We are so blessed, proud, and happy to be here. And I also brought my gang. So I brought my guy to pull up on me to talk about financial education because you know what we do here at Expediting Change. What's up, Jess? Why don't you introduce yourself?
Yeah, appreciate that, Shamari, for inviting me out here today. So I'm Justin DeVos, Director of Financial Education at Equity Now. I've been serving this particular role for about 4 years. And prior to that, I have some experience working at Vanguard as a financial advisor. So I'm definitely excited to be here. And let's get it started.
Let's get it in. Let's talk money. We talk money when me and Jess get together. We talk Mobucks, and we're right here right now at CBCF. Mm-hmm. So we're not going to get into the policy, but in order to be able to affect policy, because we believe money is power. Mm-hmm. Let's start with the financial education and doing the financial education as far as the young people are concerned.
Yeah, so I fundamentally believe in transformative, change through financial education. And one of the best ways to impact that change is with our younger generation. No doubt. I believe starting as early as kindergarten, where we could teach based on age appropriate level and instruction, what money is, what the value of money is, and the power of it, and how it can just, again, influence their lives in a much more positive way.
Wait, you said he said kindergarten, folks.
Kindergarten.
How are you teaching a kindergarten about financial education?
Well, so we look at it, right? We're in the digital age.
Absolutely.
And kids don't really have an understanding of what money is because everything happens electronically.
For sure.
So we start at the basics. We start at what is the value of a penny, the value of a dime, the value of a quarter and a dollar, and how does that, interflow in their daily lives? So getting them to understand that things cost money, right? Goods and services, needs and wants,
right out the gate,
that, they desire, things cost money. Money just doesn't come from mom and dad just haphazardly.
Money don't just go on trees.
Exactly.
But it do because
they do. They do. They'll say, well, money comes from trees because it's made out of paper.
Absolutely.
Yes, that is true.
Absolutely.
But there's a way that you have to earn the money, right? There's a way that you have to spend the money and save the money. And getting them to understand at such a young age that there are choices and decisions that have to be made with every single dollar and dime that you spend.
Absolutely.
So that's what we're teaching at a young age, is that money isn't free.
That's dope. And you not just talking that talk, you actually walk that walk because you have classroom experience. So take me through the theory, from the theory to practical. Like, how do you do it inside of a classroom with, kindergartners, first graders, second graders, anybody K through 8, and actually get them to be productive and learning in that environment, talking about money?
So I'm going to say it's much more than worksheets, right?
No doubt.
It's much more than worksheets. It's experiential learning.
No doubt.
Hands-on, engage activities to get the kids to think critically about how money is impacting them and how it essentially impacts everyone around them. Right? So when we're talking about money, we introduce various concepts. So we could talk about, let's say, what is a budget, right? So a kid wants to open up a lemonade stand. How does that happen? Right? So you need capital resources.
Absolutely.
You need funding.
Absolutely.
Right? And you need an idea.
Absolutely.
Right? So you need to have a business plan.
Absolutely.
And you may say, oh, that's a little bit too much for a 5 or 6-year-old to think about. Not necessarily.
No doubt.
Because if you're walking them through the process and having them engage with you back and forth and having dialogue, you're essentially planting the seeds for them to understand. Maybe not right then and there, but to also have conversations with their peers, conversations with their teachers, and more importantly, conversations at home about what they're learning in the classroom.
Talk to me more on that at home, because if I'm like in 3rd grade and I'm learning all of these concepts, I'm gonna take that home. So then what happens? Like, what do the parents reach out to you? Like, I hear it's K through adult education, but I got my 8-year-old talking to me about my credit and savings. Like, what am I supposed to do with that?
Well, so I believe in multi-generational approaches.
For sure.
Right? Because you can't educate the student without also educating the mom, the dad, or the parent at home.
Love that.
Right? So being able to connect it too. So what does that look like? Well, you got to tread a very fine line because everyone's situation is a bit different. You have to approach it honestly from a therapeutic standpoint because we're dealing with those who are affluent and those who are on the lower income spectrum. So you cannot approach it as a one size fits all. So you really have to get to know the dynamic of the relationship at home, but also stress to the parent that what we're doing is preparing our kids to be successful in all facets of their lives.
So you're taking it from an equity mindset because You can't just think just because you have 5 students that they're all alike financially.
Correct.
How do you deal with that? How do you delineate? How do you that could possibly be tough sometimes.
It can be tough, but it also helps when if you have someone in the classroom that can help guide those conversations.
Yeah.
And have a respectful space about where people are, right? So I can have Johnny on one side who's wearing the latest J's, and I got Malik on the other side. You know what I mean? He might be struggling a little bit, but how do we connect and say, you know what? Let's have a conversation respectfully and politeness, and let's all get money together.
No doubt,
right? Because we can all learn from each and every one's experiences.
I fundamentally believe in that. So a rising tide raises all ships, absolutely all ships. So I truly believe in that. So back to these kids though. So what do you see in these kids? Like, let's talk about like outcomes. Like what are you finding when you're teaching these K-8 students? What are you seeing? What outcomes are you identifying and seeing?
So some of the outcomes, I'll say quantitatively, is we're seeing a growth in kids wanting to open up custodial investment accounts.
No doubt, that's
right.
Dope.
They want to get started in the market early.
That's dope.
Because we've taught them that time plus compounding plus discipline builds wealth
and get you rich.
And get
if
you
you're
rich.
Starting out at 8 years old,
exactly
in the market.
Right. So it's about the idea of starting small to build big.
Absolutely.
Right. So planting those seeds early and often and being able to show them that the companies that they use on a daily basis actually can help them build wealth over time.
No doubt.
And so when they begin to understand that, like the Nikes that I have on my feet, the Starbucks that I have on my hand, the Apple computer or iPhone that I'm using, instead of thinking in a consumptive mindset, we're thinking as producers.
I love that. As straight producers, as straight owners. I absolutely love it. So you've been working with a lot of these scholars since they were in kindergarten and then they start to grow up. So talk to me about the mindset shift and then like specifically the different language that comes out of their mouth, the things that they're saying. How do you see and what comes out? Like, you know, you maybe originally get them coming out and they're talking about buying like the latest J's, and then now they want the J's, they want Nike stock. Like, so to tell me that warm and fuzzy, which is not necessarily something that's quantifiable.
The warm and fuzzy for me is I'll give a prime example. So we had a graduating class, 8th graders, this past summer.
Congratulations.
And one of the things that I noticed, even though they're not supposed to do this, is that they had their cell phones out, walking down the halls, checking their portfolios.
That's fire.
Making trades during the day in between classes. So when they came in at 5th grade, so from 5th grade, they didn't have any idea what stocks were. Right, where ETFs or index funds were. And then we look over the trajectory of their career, and we say, now they're building portfolios of Amazon, of NVIDIA.
No doubt.
They're buying shares of Apple.
Absolutely.
Right? They're thinking in terms of long-term wealth, but it's associated with a particular goal that they have in mind, whether that's they want to start a business or they want to retire at age 45.
So the administrators in the hallway, they got their phones out. They're like, put your phone away. And they're like, no, I got to execute got to execute this trade.
Correct.
I love it. Correct. I absolutely love it. I also, I know of you preparing these scholars with the businesses and things of that nature. So I want you to talk to me about some of the things that you do in the classroom with them from that business building strategy.
Yeah. So one of the core focus areas for us is entrepreneurship.
For sure.
Right? Because we connect entrepreneurship with investing. You think about all of the major companies that have started. They started from an entrepreneur.
Absolutely.
Right? And so we're getting kids to think as owners, as producers, and have a growth mindset.
Absolutely.
And so with that, we're teaching how to create a business plan inside of the classroom. We're teaching market research, how to conduct a SWOT analysis, right?
And at what grade?
So I would say the earliest grade we're teaching that is 3rd grade.
3rd grade, we teaching SWOT analysis. That's crazy. Pull up on equity now. Pull up on equity now, because this is equity straight through liberation.
Exactly.
In 3rd, I didn't even know how to spell SWOT maybe in 3rd grade, right? Like what?
Yeah, I mean, because again, if you're not exposed to it, then you're not going to think in that mindset.
Absolutely.
Right. So when we start to talk to kids and say, you know, what are some things that honestly, you know, Amazon can do better? Right. Those are opportunities.
Absolutely.
Who poses a threat to Amazon? Now kids are thinking about Shein. They're thinking about Walmart. They're thinking about Target.
Absolutely.
Right. So the SWOT has already been there. We just have to extrapolate it out.
Absolutely.
Now, one of the initiatives that I'm extremely excited for is our Global Youth Summit coming up in April for Financial Literacy Month next year. So the Global Youth Summit is going to be a regional summit where we're bringing together young entrepreneurs to pitch their businesses in front of a panel of judges, but also engage in a pitch competition as well as a vending marketplace.
For sure.
Right? So bringing these kids together to share the ideas, to share their products and services, but also to learn from other leaders, from people who have done the work, and be able to grow their businesses in one central location.
Fire. So essentially like a K-8, an elementary school, a middle school Shark Tank, like, you know what I mean? We need to holler at the Shark Tank folks on NBC and get them to come down.
If you can get Cuban to come down,
hey, that'd be dope.
We might have to do that.
That'd be dope. I don't have a favorite basketball team, so he can pull up.
I'm cool with
Dallas.
Dallas, man.
I'll be a Dallas fan. You hear that, Mark Cuban? So what are you most excited about seeing, though, with the Global Youth Summit? Like, what are you super excited to see?
I think I'm super excited to see the creativity that these kids are going to bring forth, but also the engagement between them, right? To be able to share ideas, because I think as a people, we don't have that sense of collectiveness, right? So to have
rising tide.
Exactly, rising tides raise all ships, right? So you can have someone who's already had their business in play for, let's say, 2 to 3 years, and you got someone who's starting from the ground, right? How can that more experienced, entrepreneur help that young one build their own business and be able to share ideas?
So let me go back to one thing that you said, because you're connecting. You said you're connecting entrepreneurship to investing in the stock market beginning in kindergarten. So that jump, that leap, those synergies, what are your practical concepts, whether K-8, whichever grade level, like do you like hone in on, right? Because there could be there's day trading, there's long-term investing, options, like there's all different. Like, so what do you kind of like focus on to get them to focus on?
That's a really, really good question. I focus on, and this is no shots fired to anybody because I employ a lot of different strategies, but for kids, they need to understand the power of long-term wealth building.
No doubt.
Compounding.
No doubt.
Right? So when I show kids, if you start at age 6, 7, or 8, and you pay $5 a month, and you just let it ride, and they start to see, after time, it starts to separate.
Absolutely.
That compounding starts to do a lot of the work for you.
Absolutely.
And with that, I'm really trying to help them understand that it's not who can get wealthy or richest the fastest.
No doubt.
It's who can be in the race as a marathon, right? So you think about the tortoise versus the hare and making those connections.
So is that how you do it? Because I'm not even going to blame the kids. I can't sit still for longer than 10 minutes, bro. Like, what? I can't sit still. So how do you convince them? Because right now, everything is instant gratification. People are only watching 30 seconds of a clip on Instagram, except for Expediting Change. I'm watching it all the way through, and I love that. So how do you do it?
Well, so it's giving them a choice.
Okay.
Right? Like you said, delayed versus immediate gratification.
No doubt.
So there's this icebreaker that I like to use all the time.
Yeah.
I say, hey, listen, I can give you $1 million right now.
Yeah.
Or I'm going to give you a penny and watch it double every day.
Ooh, okay.
Now, most younger kids are going to say, I want $1 million right now.
Right now. Give it to me up front.
Because I want to be able to do it. But as we're teaching kids the power of compounding and investing, as they matriculate throughout their grade levels, they begin to understand, hey, that penny is doubling. That penny is growing for me. So I'm going to take the penny that doubles, because at the end of the day, at the end of 30 days, it's going to be like 5.4 million compared to 1 million.
Exactly.
So like who actually came out better on the other side?
And you mentioned experiential. So you're giving them practical examples that they can touch and feel to understand that delayed gratification can make them rich.
We're doing stock market simulations in class.
That's dope.
For middle school students, we use Investopedia, so they can actually be able to track news throughout the day. And then also, how does that relate to their portfolios that they have,
and connecting it? And are they then buying the stocks that they are interested in, like you mentioned, like the Nike, etc., or can you get them to explore different things that they may not have ever even thought of?
So I get them to explore, right? Because it's not just about buying the companies it's about building a skill set as well to be able to evaluate a business and make an informed investment decision. So if you don't really like Nike, but you're like, you know what, I like Adidas, or I'm looking at New Balance.
Yeah.
Let me see what they're doing to separate themselves.
Absolutely.
Right. So getting them to understand at base level fundamental analysis.
Absolutely.
Income sheet versus a balance sheet.
No doubt. At
very high level.
Doubt. That's high level. But if a kindergartner walk up with me explaining income versus balance sheet,
I'm not saying we do a
balance
sheet.
Yo, hold up. I need to go back to school too then.
But again, it's age level appropriate
for sure
instruction and curriculum that we're deploying for our children.
For sure. And this is CBC Expediting Change live at CBCF. So when you live, things happen. Y'all don't let me, producers in the room, let me keep talking because I don't see my timer. And without my timer, I know I only got 30 minutes, but I'm going to keep going. So, hey, Jess, also, with this Global Youth Summit, how do you get the parents to actually come in and support what their kids are doing? Not to support, but stop them from actually doing the work for the kids, bro.
Woo.
Yeah. So I'm quick to not let look, I got to get in here and help my son. I got to get in here and help my daughter. How you stop that?
I mean, it's honestly the trust factor. Because there's only so much we can monitor, especially, I'm not in your crib. Like, yo, what are you doing?
Right.
I can't really pull up on you.
Right.
But,
knock.
What we have planned here is something very unique where we're utilizing virtual and in-person workshops.
Yeah.
Where parents can actually come in and support their kids, but also learn themselves.
No doubt.
Because we want the onus to be on the children.
Yeah.
Right? We want them to have growing pains and to make mistakes and be able to learn and kind of move forward through that process.
Absolutely.
Because at the end of the day, the experience is the greatest reward.
Absolutely.
For the kids participating.
You got to go through the fire.
You got to go through the fire. Because if you have someone doing it for you, then as an entrepreneur, that's not going to last very long.
Absolutely.
Right? So if you're not in the grind, doing the hard work, and then you reap the benefit of that hard work, that's what we want the kids to understand.
That's fire. And that's actually a great unplanned segue into, you said it's K through adult. You're teaching the kids, but obviously custodial account automatically equals you have to have a parent. Yeah. So a lot of great information about what you're doing for the kids.
Yep.
How are you teaching and training and coaching the community, these adults as well, with the same information or different information? How are you doing that?
So we're using a lot of different avenues. In-person workshops, virtual workshops, via Teams or Zoom.
Yep.
We're in the community at various events, so we pull up. Shout out to my man Antoine, who comes through with me as well.
Nice, Antoine.
And then also we have the network.
Yeah.
So the network is going to be an online platform.
Okay.
With courses, with thought leaders, subject matter experts
that
are bringing the much needed access and resources around financial education to the overall community.
And what was the name?
It's called the Equity Now, the network.
Can I join that right now?
Yes, you can.
Okay, that's dope.
You can join the wait list.
Okay.
You can join the wait list.
So it's like the VIP party line. I got to get in line.
Listen,
get in line.
Hop on the wait list.
Yeah.
Get some discounts when we, officially launch.
Yeah, for sure.
But essentially, we want to be able to be that centralized hub of everything of transformative financial education,
that's
right?
Dope.
You always say, because you're my man, it's about the positive progression of the culture,
baby. That's right.
Right. So how can we do that? We know that we can't be in every classroom,
for sure,
but everyone's online.
How can we expand it out? So what would I join that, or I join one of the community events? What am I going to see? Like, what would I see in one of those workshops that I come to or that I view online?
Man, I'm going to start from. I'm going to say this. So there's going to be a lot of different things that you're going to see, whether you want to, learn more about insurance.
Yeah.
You want to learn more about credit and debt management.
Yeah.
But one of the things that we're really going to focus on is financial wellness.
No doubt.
Via financial therapy.
So say more about that, financial wellness.
Well, so there's a lot of, seated, rooted generational traumas that we carry
for sure.
In regards to money.
For sure.
Right. And as a people, we tend not to be vulnerable or honest and transparent with how we deal with money.
No doubt.
So it's getting people to really, kind of let that guard down and be able to just express, the things that they have gone through so that they can make positive changes towards their financial goals.
You like the financial Oprah, the financial Phil?
I'm not Iyanla, whatever her name is. But,
okay.
That's essentially where we're coming from, because we want people to have essentially a mental breakthrough when it comes to their own personal finances.
No, that is absolutely fire and a great way to end. But I give you the opportunity. Is there anything else that is salient or that you have to tell the community?
start now.
Okay.
Right? Start learning.
Start now.
It's not too hard.
Yep.
To follow a podcast, to pick up a book,
yep.
to join a workshop.
Yep.
Right. But you have to be willing to make the changes
for sure
for yourself.
Absolutely.
Right. It's it starts with us.
Yep.
If your grandmom didn't do it, if your mom didn't do it, then it's going to have to start with you.
Absolutely.
So make the changes today, and then utilize the network of people you have around you. If you don't have a network, join Equity Now, the network.
Absolutely. Join Equity Now, the network. Dope way to close, my guy.
Appreciate
you. Listen, man, this is the Expediting Change podcast live at CBCF. I don't know why they got me live, because I'm already unfiltered, unscripted, and can do whatever, whenever. So now that we here live, we appreciate y'all for pulling up. All love to all the followers, everybody that's subscribing on YouTube. We appreciate you. Check out Equity Now Inc., the network, and on all social media. We'll be back. Love y'all.
Sure.
Woo.